Welcome to Cruise Kibitz, where we give you all the advice that you didn't ask for. What's up, everybody? It's Cruise Kibitz. Thank you so much for being here. How you ladies doing today?
Good. How about you?
I'm good. Thank you guys for being here. If you are not familiar with who we are Cruise Kibitz. I am Kiki from Team Reach Travels.
I am Siobhan from Parker's on the Go.
And I am Cheryl, also known as Sig Cruiser.
That's right. And together we are Cruise Kibitz, and we are here to give you all the cruise advice that you didn't ask for. That's what we're here for. So
we do.
And in case you didn't ask about it, but maybe you did, today we're going to be talking about group cruising. I am really excited about this conversation because I have never been on a group cruise before. I have my first one coming up, which these two lovely ladies just happen to be on as well. One who just happens to be hosting. So, plug. It's not too late. It's not too late to jump on board. So we are excited about the cruise, but I have not, like I said, I've never been on a group cruise before. I know that Sig has. She's been recently posting some of her footage from a group cruise that she was on in 2022. So we thought, why not take a few minutes and have a conversation about it, because I need all the tips and I need to know the goods and the bads and the ins and the outs of a group cruise. Y'all ready to talk about it?
All right,
let's do it.
Let's talk about it.
All right. So I want to talk to Siobhan first, because I want to hear about some of the positives of group cruising. Can you share some of the good things about either planning a group cruise or being on a group cruise too?
Group cruises can be fun. Planning them are also fun because you do get to have activities with people that you enjoy cruising with, and not only that, getting to meet new people. I think for the group cruises that we planned in the past, the first one I planned actually was with friends from my husband's. Y'all know Brandon. Friends of Brandon's from college, and that gave me the opportunity to not only get to know them a little bit better, but kind of get to know how other people travel, because that was the first cruise that we that was our second cruise, but the first group cruise we ever done. So we did a cruise, we came back home and bragged about it to everybody, and then everybody came with us, my mom, my daughter, my cousin, his friends. So it was a big group of us, and we all just came together and we had an amazing time. But, the most important thing about planning a group cruise is just making sure that everybody is in an understanding of just how you're going to maneuver. And so that is kind of, it's the positive and it's kind of a negative, because you're also planning for a lot of people, not just one person. So.
Oh, I could see that could be hard, because you're planning for a lot of people. Everybody don't have the same idea of fun. Everybody doesn't have the same idea of relaxation.
Right.
That can vary a lot depending on who's there. So
and it is, and it kind of weighs heavy on the head of the person who's planning the cruise, because you feel like you're in charge of people, and you don't want to feel like you're responsible for people's fun. And that's kind of how I feel sometimes when planning group cruises, because I know I just love hanging out with my friends and getting to know them a little bit better, and maybe their spouses or family that comes along. But at the same time, you don't want to feel like if this person isn't having a good time, then it's all your fault because you brought them on a cruise.
Right.
It's a lot. I mean, it can be fun if you just go with a group of people who know how to sit back and relax and enjoy themselves, then it's not a problem. But when you are planning for multiple people with multiple personalities and different styles of cruising, it is a issue.
Yeah, that don't change. Like, people are people, whether you're on land or at sea, and it's hard to get different personalities to mesh on land too. So I can imagine on a ship where everybody is stuck together on a ship for 5 to 7 days.
And I think that's why Brandon and I came up with the BYOC, because we like cruising with people, but we don't want to hold your fun hostage. We want you to be able to cruise the way you want to be able to cruise. So bring your own cruise. Let's hang out, but at the same time, if you don't want to eat dinner with us, you don't have to. And if you don't want to see a show when we want to see a show, that's fine. If you just want to pass us in the casino and say, hey, I'm all right with that too.
That's understandable.
Yes.
Now, Sig, I'm coming to you now too, because we heard a lot of the positives of cruising as a group, as well as the planning part of it too. So do you have anything else you want to add to like positives about group cruising from the cruiser side of it?
Yeah, positives from the solo cruiser side. I would say, especially like a person either that's new, a new solo cruiser, or one of the solo cruisers who's looking for, people to hang out with, or people to do activities with, people to eat with. I think a group cruise is a great way to go. Um, because you have the opportunity to, I know a lot of times, people do the Facebook groups and there's like meetups, but that's to me different than, an actual group cruise, to where you're actually, I mean, you're planning things together, but it's like you come to know each other a little bit more than those Facebook groups. And then you do, a lot of activities, together, if that's what you want. Now, and then you do have the option, like Siobhan said, of hey, if you don't want to participate, you don't have to. But especially for those who are looking for somebody to hang out with, or to do activities with, I think it's a positive, and I would recommend it. Yes.
Okay. That's
Hmm.
good to know. I love it. So I have a question for both of you actually. I wanted to know, when you're on a group cruise, do you feel like there's pressure to be with the group the whole time? Or do you feel like it's easy to just say, hey, I need some time to myself right now. I need to break away? Like, how does that work?
Well, I had no problems breaking away on my first group.
I know you did.
I kind of forgot I was on a group cruise.
So you had problems breaking to the group, not away from the group.
Well, it was, now, mind you, I mean, this is like I had completed, like, I had sailed solo maybe 20, 21 times, and I just went on my first group cruise with Edna's World, Groupcation 22. Awesome time when I was with the group, but it was an awesome time. But I did notice, and I didn't expect to have this problem, or even, to have an issue with, I got on board, I met everybody at Sail Away, and then after Sail Away, I went into solo cruiser mode, and I'm just doing what I normally do. And then it's not until later on I'm like, oh wait, I'm with a group. There's other people here on this ship that I, supposed to be hanging out with, And so I'm trying to find, in the chat and the Facebook group, okay, where everybody is. I find where they are, and then by that time I get up there, they're long gone. So it's so I had to, adjust. I had to do a mind shift from being solo to actually being on a group cruise. And then my next cruise after that, it wasn't an actual group cruise, but it was kind of sort of like an unofficial group cruise, and I did a lot better. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I didn't have, but that's one thing, and I will say, one of the differences too. Um, Now, Edna's group, her group cruise was pretty small. I think it was about 60, which is kind of small to in the nature of group cruises today. No, I think it's the way
You
she
said how
put
many?
it, 60,
60?
60.
Oh
Yeah.
Is that
wow.
small in the
That
world of
sounds
group cruise?
big to me.
Right.
I thought
Well,
you said 16. I was like, okay.
I
Yeah.
guess in relation to, like the mega big group cruises, so
Yeah.
hers was on the smaller side. Okay, mid-size
Yeah.
group cruise, but still, she ran a relaxed group cruise to where, if you wanted to participate, you could. If you didn't want to, you didn't have to show up. It was your cruise, But hey, if you want to show up, here are activities, that we have. Here is when, we're going to dinner. Join us if you want to. And everybody was making, their connecting, making friendships, going off and, hanging out, doing whatever, going to different activities together. So it was a nice, relaxed type of, group trip. So,
Well, that's good because I wouldn't want to feel like I have to do anything at a certain time with anybody. I think that would be a
yeah.
little nerve wracking to me. So it's good to hear that even if it's a group cruise, the option to break away. is there. Do you feel the same way, Siobhan? Like you have time to break away either with Brandon if he's there, or even on your own if you need to just break away from the full group sometime?
I'm usually on the side of the planner of it. So, and is 60 is nowhere. I have not planned one that big yet. I'm usually on the smaller side of it. So when she said six, I thought she said 16. I was like, okay.
Right.
But still, you, like I said earlier, you still feel responsible for other people's fun. So I just find a way to say, hey, like Cheryl was saying, this is where we're going to be if you guys want to be there. And it makes it a little easier because you don't have to feel like if they don't show up, they're not having fun.
Yeah.
So for me, it's easier just to say, this is what we're going to do today. If you guys want to come, you can join us. If you don't, that's fine. We'll be here later. And if they don't come, I'm just like, shoot, okay. Well, not that I didn't want to see them, but okay, they found something else to do and you're not responsible if they're not having a good time.
Mhm.
So it is a little, it's a give and a take. As a planner, it's hard to break away from it. But if you're just cruising and you go in, everybody goes in with the intent of, hey, you do your own thing and we can meet up whenever you guys want to meet up. That's absolutely fine. But the experience I have had was when we all did meet up, we had an amazing time. And when we all needed our personal space, we were fine with separating and we'll see you at, 4 hours later at dinner or, something like, oh, we're going to take a nap. We'll be, stuff like that. So, yeah.
That's the nice thing about a cruise. You're on it for like several days. It's not like a party with like a 4-hour party or something where if you don't spend the time together in them 4 hours, everybody is separating at the end of the party and going their own ways versus on a cruise.
Right.
Okay, we didn't hang out together today. We still got 3 days left on the ship. We could spend the whole day tomorrow if we wanted to.
Right.
That's kind of cool. I like that. So we talked about positives of group cruising. What about some of the negatives? Are there any more negatives aside from, like, say, Siobhan, we talked about the negative of having to maybe feel like the pressure of making sure everybody has a good time. Are there any other negatives associated with it that you can think of?
Maybe it's, I think one thing I have found is that maybe there are people you want to hang with and they just are nowhere to be found. I had a cousin that I've been wanting to go somewhere with her for the longest time. She had never been on a cruise. She roomed with my mom. And I wanted to hang out with her. It's like, my cousin is on this group cruise. We saw her at dinner one night. We on a 7-day cruise. We never saw her.
She
was not in the cabin. And mom was like, I think she came in and went to sleep. I don't know. She just did her own thing. And that's kind of how she moves through life. It's like she's kind of like Sid, she does her own thing. But it's just like, you do have people sometimes you do want to hang out with. And maybe you do have opportunities that are missed where you guys could do things together as a group. The other thing is probably, like I said again, for the people who haven't sailed before and they want to be by you all the time. And maybe you don't want to deal with that. Maybe you don't want to hold hands the whole cruise. So that's kind of hard too. And then, like you said before, everybody does not cruise the same way. They're particular about certain things or their food or, this isn't fun right now. Let's go do something else. And they want you to do it with them. It's all like you do have to know who you're cruising with. You do have to know who's in your group. So it is kind of hard to be in a group cruise when you do have a particular set of people that just are a little bit more difficult to travel.
Now, Cheryl, you're doing a lot of nodding over there.
Yes, I can remember a time or two in the past. I guess with cruising or probably life in general. I mean, I know, things aren't going to be perfect 100% of the time. And, and sometimes, I think what's a downer for me is when something doesn't go right and maybe it's one thing and someone, blows it out of proportion.
Yes.
But sometimes when you're in a group, that one person blowing it out of proportion is like it's contagious.
It's a chain
reaction. Everybody else joins in. Oh yeah, I don't like, such and such, And I remember being, in a group environment one time, and a person was complaining about something else that another passenger may or may not have experienced from a staff. I'm like, how do you even know how this person feels?
Right.
And it just, and then everybody else around us just started chiming in. Oh yeah, if that was me, I would. I'm like, oh goodness, the negativity, I can't do it.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, and like Siobhan said, you just have to be, careful who you're around, or just have to be a person who's able to, excuse yourself when you find yourself in the midst of negativity out in the middle of the sea on a cruise ship. So,
Right. Like, let me just remind you that we're in the Bahamas right now.
Right.
Like, maybe you feel like you're back at home at work, but let me just let
right.
you know we're at, San Juan, right? Like, calm down.
Right.
But that's people are, like I say, people are people, whether you're Atlanta or at sea. And you're right, that is contagious. That negativity is contagious.
Yes.
The good thing is positivity can be contagious too.
Yes.
So if you got the right people there that can, help bring that back, balance it out, get you back on a
Mhm.
positive note, you can make that a contagious thing too. So
Yes.
that's good. So, like I said, this will be my first group cruise. I think my
Yeah.
very first cruise that I ever went on, it was a family cruise. There were like 13 of us, I think. So I
Hmm.
wouldn't really call it a group cruise, but it was a group of people, but
It was a
not like
group
a
of people.
planned group cruise with planned events and things like
Right.
that. So my question for you ladies, what tips do you have for somebody that's going on their first group cruise?
Pack your patience.
Noted.
Everyone is not going to move the same way that you move,
Yes. Uh-huh.
and on your time.
Hmm.
So you do have to consider, if there are group activities, that there may be one or two people who just might get there a little bit slower than everybody else. Um, you just got to be able to move on and not let that deter you from having a good time. And like she said, not let it be a chain reaction. So definitely pack your patience. And I think the other one would be, is just remember, it's still your vacation.
Hmm.
Just because you're on
Hmm.
a group cruise does not mean that you can enjoy your vacation the way you want to enjoy your vacation.
That's good advice. Like, cause
Yeah.
I never want to go home from a vacation feeling like I wasted my money or wasted my
Yes.
time. Like, I need to know I had a good time despite whatever was going on around me. I want to go home saying I enjoyed myself.
Because apparently my cousin did. She didn't care nothing about being around those 7 days.
She's a
Well, at
cruise.
least you don't need the pressure of that. Wondering did she have a good time?
No, she enjoyed herself very much. When it was time to get off the ship, she was like, "Y'all, I met this person, that person, and y'all." I was like, "Well, did you meet us? Because we didn't see you."
Oh gosh.
She had a good time, and that's all that counts.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes.
What about you, Cheryl? You have any tips for a first time group cruiser?
Yeah, I would add to that a little bit. I mean, and for both sides of the coin, about being in a group, especially a group if you don't know a lot of the other people that you're traveling with. I mean, you may have somebody that your personalities just don't mesh or something like that.
Mhm.
Um, and just being able to just say recognize that, and backing away or doing your own thing or going separate ways or something like that. And then on the other end of the spectrum, like Siobhan said, if maybe somebody who admires you, or likes the way you move about the ship and wants to hang with you 24/7, maybe again pack a little patience. I mean, it's not necessary to be rude to a person. Maybe do an event with them or something if you want to, and then hey, do your own thing, or say, hey,
Right.
I got other
Hmm.
plans with so and so, or hey, I just want to relax, or well, you really don't even need to have an explanation, but
It's
you
time for
know,
my nap.
yeah,
No is a full sentence.
right, right. No, period. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, so it's like just both sides of the coin, just being ready, to again just enjoy your own vacation your own way on your own time. So
I love it. I love it. Thank you, ladies, for the tips. Do
So,
appreciate it.
so I have a question for you. So, since
Sure.
this is going to be your first group cruise, what are you thinking? What are your expectations? Anything that you're concerned or worried about?
So I have a little bit of what Siobhan was talking about in making sure people have a good time, only because my sister is sailing with me this time, and this will
Mm.
be her first cruise ever. And though I have cruising experience, I've never been on Celebrity before. So I want to make sure she has a good time, and not knowing Celebrity and how they do entertainment and things like that, all of that being new to me, I'm kind of like, ooh, I
Mhm.
hope she enjoy it. If not, we'll book another one. So, but that's kind of where my head is now, just making sure my sister enjoys herself. And then for me personally, just learning a new cruise line, seeing a new cruise line, what does Celebrity have to offer that maybe Carnival and Royal don't? And what activities are available, and how's the food versus the other lines that I've been on?
Mhm.
I'm not as worried about the group cruise part of it, honestly, because I love the way that Siobhan and Brandon set this cruise up. Like, it really
Yeah.
is a bring your own cruise. There's been no pressure that we doing this, we doing that at this time. The last thing I want to do is show up on a trip and somebody hand me an itinerary and tell me where I'm supposed to be and when I'm supposed to be there. So I love that we have the freedom while still being able to sail as a group and spend time together when we can. So
I
Yeah.
would have hated to have to ghost them. That's a relief.
Listen,
which
because
FYI,
even
she
even
will.
even in conversation, and y'all like, hey, have y'all figured out dinner? I'm like, girl, we just getting on the ship. We're gonna figure it out when we get like that's just how we do. We don't have any, so that's why for us bring your own cruise makes sense because we don't cruise like everybody else. We make decisions once we're on board. Sometimes, depending on how what it is, we'll make a decision before, but we're never really pressed about that stuff. We are really just free flow cruisers.
Mhm.
And you guys are, you're kind of more regimented, and we're just not. So, that's why it's like, hey, everybody has different cruising styles, and if you let us join you for dinner one night and we can still get it on the reservation, we'll be glad to be there. And if not, then we'll go somewhere else, So it's all about, hey, whatever you guys want to do. But I will say this, and it's something that I learned when we did Wonder, and it was how to separate yourself when you're being clingy. I didn't remember that I was being clingy. So this is maybe a tip for that one person who is used to being around somebody and not realizing that they are kind of being clingy. So I'm used to selling with Brandon. It's always me and Brandon wherever we go. So when we sell, we're together. And I think Sing and I were having pizza in Sorrento's, and she was like, "Oh, you don't have to wait for me." And I was like, "Oh, I don't. I don't think she needs me to wait for her."
I
I
don't
was
even remember
like,
that.
okay. She was just like, okay, so I'm gonna go here and I'll see you over there. And I was just like, okay. So I was like, I'm learning how to cruise by myself because she just basically told me to leave her alone.
That's funny because I remember you did a TikTok and you were like, I'm sitting here without my husband for the first time. And it was like,
She kicked me out. She kicked me out. And I had nowhere to go. So I was just like, I guess I'm a solo cruiser now. Let me see what I can do with my time.
oh my God.
I'm so sorry, and I thought nothing of it apparently because I don't even remember
But
that.
that's the thing. Like, that's the way you cruise. So in a group cruise situation, we all had never cruised together before. So it was like we all had different cruising styles. Like I said, I'm a free flow cruiser. You guys have more of a planned cruise, and you have a different way of cruising than all the Kiki and myself.
Mhm.
So for me, it was like realizing that she cruises this way, and this is just how she is. She is still, regardless of us being friends, she is still kind of introverted, and she does like her time. Give her her personal space, and then go find something to do with yourself. So when she said that, I was like, let me go find something to do. She might need some me time.
Right. Because eventually we got to go back to the same room. We're going to be together.
She don't want to be around me all the time. We're already sleeping in the same cabin. Let her have some
where I
space.
sleep. So
Right. So,
that is funny. That is funny. I don't even remember that. So
But she said it. She said it a few times. She was like, "Y'all don't have to wait for me." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Mhm. That means she found a really nice way to say, I need to be alone, right?
Yes, yes. I learned code. I have teenage girls, so I know code when I hear it. Y'all don't have to wait for me, man. Go ahead on. I need to be by myself for a minute.
Oh goodness. Okay.
So, that's actually a good transition to the way that I wanted to close this out, because I believe that by the time people see this, we're going to be probably 2 weeks, maybe even 1 week away from the group cruise that we're going on together, the BYOC cruise. But I'm pretty sure I saw that there's another BYOC cruise coming in the summertime that people may have some time to join in on. So, Siobhan, do you want to tell everybody about that in case some people want to join into that BYOC cruise?
Absolutely. We are going to be on the Carnival Conquest on June 19th through the 23rd. This BYOC came about because my family, who 90% of them have not ever cruised before, wanted to cruise since Brandon and I have been cruising. And they said they can't cruise for a long period of time because they've never been on a ship. So we found a nice 4-day cruise. It's going to stop in Key West and Cozumel. It's leaving out of Miami. So once again, June 19th. And it's going to be fun. Like I said, we are very relaxed cruisers. You do whatever you want to do. It's a BYOC. We just want to come and hang out with you, get to know you. And if you don't want to hang out with us, that's fine. If you just want to be in a room where it happened, we like that too. So if you're interested, you can reach us at parkersongo16@gmail.com, and I can send you all the information.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Thank you for asking.
One last thing before we get out of here. Because we can't have a conversation about group cruise and not talk about us having a group cruise. Like, are we going to do this? Is it coming? Should the people be prepared that may be something to come in the future?
We keep getting questions about it.
I know. The people want to know.
So
like
the
Siobhan said, they want to be in a room where
2024. Does that sound okay? CK Kickback 2024?
That sounds good.
I think it has a nice ring to it.
I think so too. Okay.
Well, let us know what y'all think.
Yeah.
2024.
Yeah. Let's make that happen.
Yeah, let's marinate on that. All right, ladies. Well, I enjoyed the conversation as always. Always a good time chatting with you all, and I hope that everyone listening enjoyed the group cruise conversation. And I mean, if you have questions, additional questions, more than what we covered about group cruising or any other cruise related topic, go ahead and drop it in the comments for us. Send us a message on IG. You can send that to the Cruise Kibitz Instagram or any of our individual Instagrams. So that's Parkers on the Go, Sick Cruiser, or Team Reach Travels. Or you can email us at cruisekibitz@gmail.com. Really, there's a multitude of ways to get a hold of us. There's no excuse. Y'all can get a hold of us any way you need to.
Absolutely.
So let us know what your questions are, and let us know what you thought of today's episode as well. So I think we are probably done. What you think, Steve?
Yeah, I think we should call this a podcast.
All right, then. Thank you, everybody. And until next time, happy cruising.
Happy cruising.